elements shaped this land. The first was water. Rain clouds, heavy with Gulf Stream moisture, break on its shield of high hills. Its green slopes sweat 1,000 springs, tumbling tributaries that feed a river called the Clyde. A river whose youthful strength drove the mill wheels of an earlier time, whose mature depths cradled great ships, whose spreading waters open a door to the Atlantic, the Firth of Clyde. Water and coal, kernel of industry and hard-won economic wealth, wrought from its seams below the rich soil of Lanarkshire and Ayrshire. This pockmarked landscape forged an age of iron and the new age of steel. Men from Lowland Cottage and Highland Croft laboured in its workshops, were housed in a cluster of grey towns, home to 2.5 million souls, half the population of Scotland. And at the heart, a city, Glasgow, tight-knit, stone-faced, poised on the edge of change. A city rising from the dust of self-destruction and reaching for the future with vaulting pride. Let Glasgow flourish, says the motto, and ruggedly it does just that. This is the hard core of Scotland, the commercial and industrial nub of the nation, centre of a city region that serves as a powerhouse for prosperity. Above all, it's a workplace. Glasgow puts on no false front, no airs. It's a take-us-for-what-we-are place that knows it can't be ignored. 200 turbulent years behind it, making its way in a competitive world. A city that survives. Other towns have a more ancient fame. Glasgow, compared to them, is an upstart thrusting its way into modern times. Like the tobacco lords who paced its Strongate 2 centuries ago, elbowing lesser folk into the gutter. Magnates who made it the tobacco mart of Europe, importing the rich leaf from Virginia, rum and sugar from the West Indies, and who were beggared at last by the secession of the colonial states. After the merchants, the mills, a town of clacking looms and strong-willed weavers with busy fingers and radical opinions, till King Cotton left for Lancashire and King Coal arrived from the pit. Fiery furnaces, belching chimneys, the ring of hammers. A city fashioning ships for the sea lanes of the world, locomotives for its railroads. A city of iron men who combined the making of money with the praise of Almighty God. Such was Glasgow in its sooty heyday, the second city of a booming empire. And this is the heritage they left behind them. Foursquare, solid, orderly. This was the face they presented to the world. A face sometimes austere, occasionally ornate, even ponderously whimsical. Atlas heaving a department store on his shoulders. Donatello's David setting his sling at the Christian Institute. On the rim of a park, a museum in red sandstone Disney-esque. High on a hill, a university. Parnassus in railway Gothic. dominating George Square, a palace of municipal pride, enclosing a wonder of Italian marble interiors. And down by the river, a carpet factory in Venetian brick and tile. Within the city, nature erupts in broad acres of parkland, breathing space for the people, a massive legacy of Victorian enlightenment. In its cultural life, Glasgow is no mean city. It is home to both the National Symphony Orchestra and the National Opera Company, and houses a municipal art collection second to none. What paintings! Old masters from Italy, France and the Low Countries. Giorgione, Corot and Rembrandt. A superb display of the French Impressionists. And not least, the fresh talent of a school of lively native painters known as the Glasgow Boys. Glasgow began with a saint, and an old kirk stands where he made his cell. Soot-stained and squat, the cathedral has adopted some of the dour aspect of its reforming divines, but it pays not to judge by first impressions. There is an inspired simplicity in the plain lines of this church, a masterpiece of early Gothic. The cathedral's ancient glory is found underground in the half-light of the crypt. A forest of pillar and vault shades the resting place of Mungo, founder and patron of the city. Across the Great Divide, John Knox, from his Presbyterian pedestal, looks upon the resting place of the great and the unknown. Who are the great names of the West? Adam Smith, the economic seer of the age of prosperity, taught at Glasgow University. James Watt, born in Greenock, ushered in the age of steam, formulating his principles of engineering as he walked on Glasgow Green. David Livingstone, the mill lad from Blantyre, turned student, burned the midnight oil for the glory of God and the enlightenment of darkest Africa. Lister pioneered antiseptic surgery in the wards of a city hospital. And Thomson, Lord Kelvin, turned his mathematical genius to the service of navigation. These, and many others, are inscribed upon the roll of fame. And the unknown? What of the men in the street? These are the men, and these are the streets. Glasgow is a city of paved canyons and cliff-faced dwellings, built on the basic unit of a 4-story tenement block. Tenements are infinitely variable, from homes no bigger than a single room to grand and affluent apartments with panelled doors and bay windows with a view. Tenement life is an essay in togetherness. Every street a village, every pavement a village green. Tenement life has stamped the character of many generations of Glaswegians, a warm-hearted blend of lowland stock mingled with Highland Gael and wandering Irish. The Glaswegian is a creature of paradox. Behind his rough exterior, there beats a kindly heart. Beneath his thick skin, a sentimental soul struggles to get out. He is a wanderer who longs for hearth and home, a fighter who knows how to cry. Strong passions lie close below the surface, at work or at play. Nowhere are they stronger than at a football game. For Glasgow is the original football daft city. With the same energy and vitality that characterizes its citizens, the corporate city of Glasgow is pressing ahead with physical revolution. An earthquake has been born on the drawing board. Decaying suburbs make way for green and leafy precincts, where today's and tomorrow's families can be brought up in a bright environment. For Glasgow looks after its folk with the dedication of a mother hen. New roads cut swathes through the familiar scene. A ring road system is underway to link the city's commerce with Scotland's network of motorways. Planning on the grand scale is always contentious, and in Glasgow it is no exception. It'll be a long time before the dust settles. And like an athlete in training, Glasgow keeps in trim for the future, slimming down from a population peak of well over 1 million to nearly half as much, giving its once overcrowded citizens room to breathe. Those who leave find new life in new towns around the city. Three new towns are in Glasgow's orbit. Cumbernauld, a sophisticated restatement of a traditional theme, the grey Harald settlement on a hill. Irvine, the seaside new town, growing from the nucleus of an ancient port. And East Kilbride, already the 6th largest town in Scotland, and still growing, mature and balanced. New towns and old. They form in this region the dynamo of the Scottish economy, an industrial kaleidoscope of old established tradition and newborn enterprise. Clyde built. Ever since the first iron ships were made, the river has been much more than a name on the map. It has become a trademark. 60 years ago, more tonnage was launched into the Clyde than anywhere else in the world. And the riveters of Browns or Fairfields were the aristocrats among British working men. The number of shipyards has now dwindled, especially in the upper reaches of the river. But yards in the lower Clyde have re-equipped with the technologies of the super-tanker age. For nearly 2 centuries, the Clyde has been the industrial artery of the region. It established a whole way of life. Wealthy merchants, bankers and professional men developed a taste for holidays at favoured spots along the shores of the Firth, and working folk followed as the railway age gathered steam. Sleek paddle steamers, listing under their burden of day trippers, plied the busy lanes in noisy competition. Today, only one of the paddlers remains, saved from the scrapyard by a team of enthusiasts and lovingly refurbished. No wonder there are pipers to send her downriver on her maiden voyage under a new flag. Sailing down the Clyde. Was ever there such a family adventure outside the storybooks? Folk have been cruising down the water for the best part of a century, and the lure of the briny is still strong. The Waverley sails on, recalling to the nostalgic the fiddle and accordion bands of yesteryear, and the silver plate set for high tea in the saloon. The Clyde coast resorts still put on a brave show, in spite of charter jets to the Mediterranean sunshine and uncertain weather at home. Even their names spell romance. Tynebruch, Craigendorn, Lochranza and Rue. They cherish a faintly exotic charm. Palm trees along the prom and a pagoda on the pier. Around the Firth, picture postcards come to life. Sea lochs, rocky islands, bare mountains, amber moorland. This is tourist Scotland. The grand majesty of Arran, a rare paradise of beauty and peace. From Bruce's castle at Tarbert to the wee town of Campbelltown, the gentle countryside of Kintyre. A self-sufficient people who for centuries bore arms for the mighty lords of the Isles. To the north spreads the crumpled tapestry of Argyll, ribcage of the Highland Hills, picked clean and bare by wind and frost. This is Campbell country, a wild region where feuding clans purged their pride with blood. The last wilderness of the western seaboard. Loch Lomond, best loved of all, and less than 30 miles from the centre of Glasgow. Softer landscapes pillow the southern approaches of the city region. The young Clyde, still free from the iron grip of industry, wanders between bluffs that trap the sun in mile upon mile of orchard garden. Further south, the brooding hills hunch their shoulders against the border country. To the west, in the rich grasslands of Ayrshire, lies the birthplace of one of Scotland's greatest sons, Robert Burns.
Hundreds of thousands of people all over the world will have their hearts set on the old town of Ayr this morning, and it is therefore with a great sense of responsibility and pride that we lay our wreaths at this statue now. The Royal Borough of Ayr, Provost Campbell Howie.
Man of the soil, man of the people. Robert Burns is honoured throughout the world for celebrating the worth of honest toil and the brotherhood of man. No man of letters anywhere else is honoured annually with such hallowed ceremonial. The January ritual of the Haggis feast, couched in the old broad tongue that sadly few modern Scots can fully understand. This is the traditional Burns supper, dedicated to the immortal memory of a people's poet born 2 centuries ago.
His knife, see rustic labour dicht and cut ye up with ready slicht, trenching your gushing end.
The address to the haggis, great chieftain of the Puddin race.
Is there that o'er your French ragout, or olio that would stow a sou, or fricassee would mark ye spew with perfect scunner, looks doon with sneer and scorn for ye and second a dinner? Oh, mark man, ken your care and dish them out their bill of fare. All Scotland wants, nae skinking ware that jops and luggies. But, if ye wish her great for prayer, gie her a haggis.
The Alloway Burns Club joins in a festival of good fellowship that unites Scotland and the world in places as far apart as Moscow, Tokyo and Houston, Texas. The immortal memory of Burns crosses all frontiers.
Burns had not the perfection of self-discipline. Life was for living. Snobbery and pretense abounded. And the satirical pen, wielded recht by Robert Burns, was to lay much of that bare.
Few men have expressed so well the language of friendship and love, or cherished more deeply the dignity of man. Robert Burns, born in a humble cottage and bred in harsh adversity, spoke out courageously against hypocrisy, humbug, inhumanity and injustice. He gave to Scotland and to the world a wealth of songs. He understood better than most, before or since, the complex nature of the Scot.
While Robert Burns lives in our hearts, so long lives Scotland. I would ask you to be upstanding and drink with me a toast to the immortal bard, Robert Burns. Robert Burns.
This is the Ayrshire that Burns knew. This is where he lived and loved. The old Brigadoon, where Tam O'Shanter's grey mare lost her tail. The Bachelors' Club at Tarbolton, where he learned to dance and to debate. Pussy Nancy's, where he drank and revelled. And the rolling farmlands, where he toiled with little reward, now rich and fertile. A land of fine dairy cattle, the famous Ayrshires. Famous too the early tatties that thrive in the light soil of this coastal plain. Seascapes and sand-blown links, a paradise for golfers and holidaymakers. Guarding the coastline in an ornamental attitude of defence, Culzean Castle stands proud on its cliff, a superb mock heroic creation of the architect Robert Adam. New castles dominate the shoreline. Castles of technology. Castles of concrete for offshore oil. Power for the future. Nuclear power. Here will rise a mighty steelworks. And here is the gateway to the trading world. All this is the muscle that gives a nation strength. This region has always claimed pride of place as the economic centre of modern Scotland. Glasgow and the towns of the Clyde Basin, old and new, were built in a spirit of adventure and confidence, born of resolution and the will to succeed. Now there is a new stirring in this old nation, a new confidence to face the challenge of the future. A future in the achieving of which the sturdy folk of Scotland's West will surely play a major part.